All right, what's up guys? Vivi back with another video. And in today's video, we're going to have a pretty chill, pretty lighthearted video. We're going to be going over some new promos, some new spoilers and stuff like that. In fact, let me go and lay out the video for you guys so we can just jump straight into this. First things first, we're going to be checking out about 10 or 11 new cards coming out, promo cards, and I think an EB-03 card. Okay, we're going to talk about that first. And then after that, we're going to check out a single game on the sim. Okay, so I will have everything time-stamped in the general description as usual, and I will have any relevant deck lists and links and stuff like that down in the comment section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the Vivi Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Today's video is brought to you by Nin Garden. To celebrate their 1-year anniversary, they're thanking the fans with a huge sale. Pre-orders are now open for the King of Hearts and Cotton Candy playmats, available while supplies last. And you can use my code, the Vivi Theory, at the checkout for an extra 5% off on your next order. Alright, first card up, we got Portgas D Ace. This is a blue, 5-cost, 6,000 power character, Whitebeard Pirates type with a 1k counter, with blocker, and on play, look at the top 3 cards of your deck and place them on the top or bottom into any order. Then, give your leader or one of your characters up to 1 Rested Dawn. Okay, that's very nice, guys. This card's actually very solid. In Red Blue Ace and Red Blue Marco, you're probably going to be able to build this character directly into those decks where it just goes seamlessly. It'll just be a perfect card to include in those decks. But I do want to point out that this is not leader locked or type locked or anything like that, guys. This is just a 5-cost, 6k, 1k counter blocker. And then on play, top 3, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and then give your leader or one of your characters a Rested Dawn. So this can go in any blue deck. Even, you know, one thing I've seen in the past is cards where it's like, you know, like the 5-cost Nami, you can only use that in like a multicolored deck, you know, a leader with multiple colors. So, you know, even in a monocolored deck, though, this card will be completely fine. So even if you're trying to play like ST22, Ace, and Newgate, okay, I think they're calling it Ace Gate. Yeah, you can even run this in there, and you won't have to worry about your leader not being multicolored. So this is just a generically solid blocker here. I think it will probably see the most value in something like Red Blue Ace, because you're giving a Dawn to your leader, you know, and I believe your leader effect needs you to have 1 Dawn attached, and then you're swinging for 7,000. You develop a 6,000 power blocker. You're setting the top 3 cards of your deck. You can put them on the top or put them on the bottom, and this is a Whitebeard searchable card. Okay, and then the same idea with Red Blue Marco, you're going to be able to play this card out, do everything we just said, and with the Dawn attached to your leader, okay, now we can go from there, right? You can, it does kind of, I guess it's a little bit weird within Marco, but then again, you could just look at the top 3 cards, and if there's something you don't want in there, you could just throw that down to the bottom of your deck, in any order, and then you could look at the next card from the top. So it does still work even within Marco. It allows you to switch cards out however you need to, and now you're giving a character minus 2,000 for the turn. Now, one more deck we have to talk about. For those who are not aware, for those who might be new to the channel, Blue Yellow Ace is one of my favorite leaders, if not my favorite leader in the game currently. And I have to say, anytime I see a 5-cost blue or yellow character, it doesn't even have to be Whitebeard Pirates, it doesn't even have to be Ace. Whenever I see a 5-cost blue or yellow character, the first thing I'm thinking is, how will this go in Blue Yellow Ace, right? That's like, how will this work in Blue Yellow Ace? And unfortunately, guys, I don't think this is really what we're trying to do. You can build the deck however you want to, of course. And if you're building a more Goa Kingdom version, a more Goa Kingdom-centric version of Blue Yellow Ace, then this card will probably fit in perfectly there. But some people, like myself, we like to build Blue Yellow Ace in more of a life-gaining build. And I think Nami is still just strictly better than this card, because Nami is a 5-cost, 6k, 1k counter blocker, just like Ace is, but it is a on-play, draw 3 cards, and then put 2 cards from your hand on the top or bottom of your deck in any order. So that already lets us fix things the way we need to for our leader effect. And this card does not draw, right? This card just looks at the top 3, put them on the top or put them on the bottom, but this card gives a Rested Dawn. Now, if this card gave 2 Rested Dawn, they might have to adjust it a little bit, maybe be too strong. But if it gave 2 Rested Dawn, then I could probably see a reason to run this card in Blue Yellow Ace. But as is, I'm not a huge fan of it, unless I was specifically trying to make something work with the the Goa Kingdom version. Either way, like I said, don't get the wrong, idea, guys. I think this is a very solid card, a very strong 5-cost 6K blocker. Okay? All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, next up we got Tony Chopper. Chopper is a red 4-cost 5,000 power animal Straw Hat Crew type character with a 1K counter and blocker, and then on play, give your leader up to 1 rested Dawn. Okay, we're starting to see this theme pop up quite a bit, I think, guys. This whole idea of like, okay, I want to play out a character and then I need to get an extra Dawn from it, right? I feel like that's a theme we're seeing pop up quite a bit now. I feel like maybe it started around OP-12 or excuse me, maybe OP-12, PRB-02, OP-13, somewhere in that ballpark, like the transition from Block 3 and going into Block 4. They really want to give your leader this extra Dawn card in some way, shape, or form, or give extra Dawn for the turn in the case of green, whatever. And I don't hate it, right? I don't think it's terrible or anything like that, but it does seem like a very common theme we're starting to see. Now, this card seems very good. I think this might just be a generically good red Straw Hat Crew card because it's a 4-cost 5K with a 1K counter and blocker. Okay, I'm already interested. Like, that's already fine. But then it gives you an on play to give your leader up to 1 rested Dawn card. Okay, well now that's going to benefit any leader that's trying to have some type of Dawn attached to their leader to get a special effect. Okay, it's not leader locked. Again, just like what we saw with the Ace, there is no leader locking of this card. You can play it in any deck you want to, and it's a 4-cost 5K 1K counter blocker. On play, give your leader a Dawn. So you're going to get to swing for 6,000, which is a very relevant attack nowadays, guys, because there's a lot of 6,000 power blockers. And there's a lot of 6,000 power leaders. So it is good to see this card. I don't have a whole lot to say about it, but I do think this is a solid card all around. Okay, next card. All right, now we got Nami. So Nami is a 4-cost, 4,000 power, 2K counter, Egghead Straw Hat Crew card. Okay, green Egghead, guys. Green Egghead. Interesting. On play, if your leader has the Straw Hat Crew type, set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active. Okay, so this is what I was just talking about, guys. Like with Ace and with Chopper that we just saw, those are not really leader or type locked in any way, shape, or form. However, with this card here, it looks like they're saying it's a 2K counter, but I can't really make that out on the side of the card. Who knows? Maybe they have a better way of seeing it in person. I really can't tell. But whatever the case is, they're saying this is a 4-cost, 4,000 power, 2K counter card, and it has an on-play effect that's very strong, but is only strong in certain situations. Excuse me. It's if your leader has the Straw Hat Crew type, you can set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active. That seems like it's right on theme for green right now. That's what green does. It looks like it's a question mark here by Egghead because, I think the quality of this card is not great. So it's kind of hard to tell the counter on it, and it's also hard to tell what the types are. So that's probably what the question marks are there. Who knows? But other than that, if the effect is correct, if all the translation's good on here, I think this is a very solid 2K counter, and it will be very good within any kind of green Straw Hat Crew deck to play out on curve, because you'll get 2 Dawn back for the turn. So you really are developing a 2-cost 4,000 power character, in that case, and that's just a nice vanilla stat character. So really good stuff here. And the fact that this is a 4-cost card, you might be able to cheat this out with something like the 7-cost film Luffy to cheat this out. And now you're playing out a 7-cost card, and then you're cheating out the 4-cost card and getting 2 Dawn back for the turn. So there could be some interesting ways to use this card in the future. Big fan of this one. I think this is just a solid, generically strong utility 2K counter for Straw Hat Crew decks only, though. Okay? All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, next up we got Shanks. Shanks is a purple 8-cost 10,000 power character with 4 Emperors, Red Hair Pirates, and former Roger Pirates type. I really like the picture on this one. That looks really cool. And it says, if you or your opponent has 10 Dawn cards on their field, this character cannot be removed from the field by your opponent's effects. Okay, so we just saw a purple, not too long ago, we saw an 8-cost, 10,000 power Roger, a purple character card Roger, that was 8 cost and 10,000 power, and it had something similar, where it was if you or your opponent has 10 cards, 10 Dawn cards on their field, then your leader gets plus 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn, or until the beginning of your next turn, or something like that. So it looks like that's something they might want to start messing around with within purple. We've seen them do stuff like this before, right? Where it's if you have 8 or more Dawn cards on your field, do an effect. Or another thing they like to do is if you have equal to or less Dawn cards on your field, then do an effect. Well, now we have if you or your opponent has 10 Dawn cards on their field, do an effect. This one's pretty good. This character cannot be removed from the field by your opponent's effects. But I have to say, guys, a 10,000 power an 8 cost 10,000 power character, that's already hard enough to deal with. Now, this card, they won't be able to deal with at all, right? There's no way to remove it from the field by your opponent's effects. However, I think I like the Roger a little bit better because it's actually buffing our leader on play if we have 10 Dawn or our opponent has 10 Dawn on the field. So I do kind of like that a little bit better personally, like on a personal level, because I already think it's hard enough for your opponent to deal with 8 cost 10,000 power characters within the game of One Piece. So yeah, still not a bad card though, guys. Maybe as a 1 or 2 of in any kind of purple deck. It is not leader locked or type locked or anything like that, so you can run this in any deck and get the value. Okay, very cool stuff here. Let's check out the next one. Okay, next up we have Port Goss D Ace. Another ace card, guys. Another blue ace card. This one is a 4 cost, 6,000 power Whitebeard Pirates type card with no counter. Okay, so it is a vanilla stats. This is a 4 cost 6k, but no counter. Let's see what the on-play effect is that's replacing the 1k counter. Draw 2 cards and place 2 cards from your hand at the top or bottom of your deck in any order. Then give your leader up to 1 rested Dawn card. Okay, so that's interesting. This is probably meant, if I had to guess, I think this is probably meant to be support for the ST22 Ace and Newgate leader, which I think this could be very strong in there. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember exactly, but I think there's a 5 cost 6k 1k counter ace in that deck that allows you to play out a 4 cost or lower Whitebeard Pirates type card from the top of your deck. And I think this card would be perfect in that. But I'm not exactly sure. If you guys know, by all means, tell me in the comment section below. But whatever the case is, I think this is still a solid card. Again, the nice thing about this card is it is completely good on a generic level. It does not require a certain typing or leader or anything like that. It is just on play, draw 2 and place 2 cards on the top or bottom of your deck and give a Dawn to your leader. Okay, really good stuff here. I think this is just a great card, guys. A lot of really solid promos coming out here. I don't know why they can't just include cards like this in the normal sets. Who knows? I don't know how Bandai works. But one thing I have to mention, guys, is so far every card that we've seen, yeah, this Ace, this Shanks, this Nami, this Chopper, and this Ace, they're all promo cards. And for us players over here in the West, guys, that is terrifying. Because a lot of times we don't get these promo cards. I don't know how people get them. Or if we do get them in the West, you have to know the right person or know the right event to go to or whatever the case might be. And it ends up making these promo cards really, really expensive. So I do hope that Bandai can get a hold of that very soon. Because I understand that sometimes what happens is they think a deck is probably going to perform a certain way. And then it's like, wait a minute, the deck might need a little bit of extra support. And I think that's where these promo cards come from primarily. But what ends up happening is, okay, well now it's a promo level card that everyone wants to get a hold of. Collectors and players want to get a hold of a certain card, and it ends up making the price like astronomical compared to what the card probably should cost for what it does. Either way, I do think this is a good ace here. I just hope it's, I hope all these cards are going to be available enough for us players over here in the West to get our hands on them, because these are probably going to allow certain decks to do a lot better, especially at a local level. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, next up we have Monkey D. Luffy. It says, this was pretty blurry, but took my best shot reading the effect. So big shout out to all the translators, guys. Notice this one, Dan Ugore. Hopefully I said that correctly. My apologies if I messed that up. But yeah, big shout out to all the translators who translate these cards for us, okay? So this is Monkey D. Luffy, yellow character, 5 cost, 6,000 power, Egghead, 4 Emperor, Straw Hat Crew type, with a 1,000 counter, or a 1k counter. And then end of your turn, you may turn 1 card from the top of your life cards face down. Okay, that's very interesting. Sorry guys, I stopped reading right there because as a blue-yellow ace player, that's a very attractive effect. Guys, that is a very attractive effect for me. Okay, so end of your turn, you may turn 1 card from the top of your life cards face down. Set up to 1 Egghead type character as active. Okay, now I don't know how many Egghead type cards I'm going to try to include in blue-yellow ace in the future, but I can tell you right now that end of your turn effect is very, very strong within blue-yellow ace. Okay, now there's also a trigger, draw 1 card, then KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less. Okay, the trigger's kind of whatever. It is at least trigger, draw a card, and then KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less, so you can always just trigger, draw a card if you need to. But that end of your turn effect within blue-yellow ace seems very, very strong. I'm sure it's going to be good in other decks too, guys. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure yellow Bonney's going to love this from OP-13, and maybe any Egghead deck might really enjoy this card here. It's a 5 cost, 6k, 1k counter. The stat line's fine. It has Egghead and Straw Hat searchability and trigger searchability. And guys, within certain decks, you know, you're going to be able to play this out and maybe flip the life card face down and get some extra value in that way, setting up to 1 of your Egghead type characters as active. That could be really cool, guys. Maybe they'll start printing. That is something I have wanted to see them do more within the yellow color is, okay, the triggers are nice and all, and I'm not complaining about triggers at all, but I do want to see more levels of complexity within yellow and more levels of interaction. Where, okay, can we have some more mechanics built around, like, okay, I'm going to flip a life card face up, and then I'm going to do an effect, and then later in the game, I'm going to flip a life card face down, and I'm going to do an even more powerful effect. Like, flipping the life card face up should be, like, a slightly weaker effect, in my opinion. In my opinion, but flipping a life card face down, I feel like should be an even more powerful effect. Now, in this case here, end of your turn, you may turn 1 card from the top of your life cards face down. That's interesting. You know, this might also be very strong in something like Eustace Kid, the yellow Eustace Kid leader. This could be very good in there because at the end of your turn, if I'm not mistaken, guys, with the way that timing works and if this translation is correct and everything, at the end of your turn, you'll be able to stand 1 of your characters up as active with your leader's effect, with the yellow Eustace Kid's leader effect, a supernova character that costs 3 or more, stand them up as active, okay, and then flip the top card of your life card face up and they get blocker and everything, right? Okay, well now for my second end of your turn effect, I'm now going to flip the top card of my life cards face down, and then I'm going to set up to 1 of my Egghead type characters as active. So who knows, maybe we'll be able to find a way to make yellow Eustace Kid more of a supernova and Egghead type of theme moving forward. We'll have to see. It could be interesting. Okay, good stuff here. Cannot wait to mess with this card here. All right, moving on to the next one, we got Sabo. All right, Sabo is a 4 cost, 6,000 power Revolutionary Army type character with the effect, if your leader has the Revolutionary Army type, this character gains blocker and +4 cost. Okay, that's right on theme for the Revolutionary Army stuff, especially the black Revolutionary Army cards. And also, we have an on-play effect here. You may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand, and then give up to 1 Rested Dawn card to your leader or 1 of your characters. Oh, that's very interesting, I have to say. So that's very interesting. I wonder if they're going to plan on making more Revo Army black-yellow effects in the future. I think that would be really, really cool if they choose to do that. But I will say this just really quickly here, guys. So know that in general, generally speaking, yellow is the color that deals with life manipulation. That's not to say there's not other colors that deal with life manipulation as well, or at least have cards within other colors that deal with it, like the 2-cost 2k counter Sanji that can activate main, take a life card, attach 2 Rested Dawn cards to the Sanji, and give him +2,000 for the turn, right? There are, different colors that can manipulate life as well. It's not a major theme, but they can do it for really powerful effects. I've mentioned this before. I hope Bandai continues to do that to some extent. Not to a great extent, but to a lesser extent. I hope they start messing around with that more with all the colors. allow for other colors to take life cards to do like really, really powerful effects, and also allow other colors to have Dawn minus effects to get more powerful effects. Again, let yellow be the main one that manipulates life, and let purple be the main one that manipulates like Dawn and Dawn minus, right? But I would like to see them branch out and give other colors some options to get some really powerful effects from, you know, those complementary type of conditions or effects that go with them. So either way, really cool stuff here. I think the on-play effect is not really that powerful. I think I'm just more a fan of the fact that they're dabbling with taking a life card as a deck that's running black. You can actually, with a black effect, you can take a life card. On play, add one card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand, and then give up to one rested Dawn card to your leader or one of your characters. I would not be surprised if a card like this is built specifically to help, you know, black, in this case, deal with something like yellow Enel, where they're trying to just starve them, and they're just going to say, okay, I'm just going to push every character you have on the board to your life, and then you're just going to be stuck. Well, with a card like this, you can develop a 4-cost, 6,000 power character that's going to allow you to take a card from your, you know, from your life and add it to your hand. And this is, if your leader's Revo Army, this character gains blocker and +4 cost. So really cool stuff here. Big fan of this card and the potential that a card like this offers to the future of the game's design space. Okay, next card. All right, guys, we got a brand new leader to talk about here. And this card is from EB-03, by the way. All the cards we've seen up to this point have been promos, okay? But Nefeltari Vivi is going to be in EB-03. All right, so Vivi is a red-blue leader with 4 life, 5,000 power, / attribute with Alabasta Kingdom type. And then it looks like we got 2 effects here. Once per turn, when one of your characters with an original cost of 4 or greater would be KO'd, you may instead trash 1 card from your hand. Okay, we'll talk more about that in just a second. Activate main, you may rest this leader and give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power for this turn, then give up to one of your characters without a when attacking effect rush for this turn. Wow, okay, so we got 2 very powerful effects here we got to break down. We got a lot to unpack here. The once per turn effect is just not even surprising to me anymore. It seems like that's just the direction that Bandai is going. Let's just give every color and everything, you know, anti-removal just built in all over the place, especially anti-KO removal. Okay, so that once per turn effect is very solid, though. It's actually better than it first reads, if I'm understanding it correctly. Because you'd think, like, okay, when one of your characters with an original cost of 4 or greater would be KO'd by an opponent's effect. You would think that at first, but no, guys, it just says when one of your characters with an original cost of 4 or greater would be KO'd. It doesn't even say by an effect. So that could be even in battle, right? Unless the translation's off, which I'm not saying it is, I have no idea. But if this translation is correct, and I'm understanding it correctly, this effect can even save one of your characters from battle KO. Okay, so really, really powerful effect there. Excuse me. Then we have an activate main. Check this out, guys. You may rest this leader. So what is the implication there? Guys, if you rest the leader, you can't attack with the leader. Okay? However, just like the other Nefeltari Vivi that we've seen, the one from, I can't remember, I think it was like OP-04 or something like that, that Nefeltari Vivi could not attack. However, this Nefeltari Vivi can, unless you want to use the activate main effect here. You may rest this leader, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power for this turn, then give up to one of your characters without a when attacking effect, rush for this turn. Okay, very, very cool, guys. Very strong stuff here. It's kind of like a weird mixture between PRB-01 Sanji, the leader, and the red-blue Marco leader, right? You're resting down this leader to give a character minus 2,000 power for the turn, and then you're making it where one of your characters can have rush for the turn, but it's not the exact same as PRB-01 Sanji, right? Because that cannot, I think it's on play effect characters cannot rush, but this is making it where when attacking effect characters cannot rush with Nefeltari Vivi. So, you know, kind of weird the way they did that, but I do understand it. I almost feel like it should be the other way around. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I feel like it should be only characters with when attacking effects can gain the rush from this leader effect. But who knows? That's just me talking, guys. That's kind of the way that I would have balanced it so that you can have that effect right away. Whatever the case is, they've chosen to do it like this for balance purposes, obviously. But yeah, guys, this leader seems very, very solid. I don't know how good it will be because one thing that I've been noticing, at least this is like some things I've been picking up on just from watching the, OP-12 and OP-13 over in the East, OP-12 in the West, OP-13 in the East. If your leader does not have 5 life or does not have 6,000 power in some way, shape, or form, I think it becomes very difficult for it to compete in the current meta. I don't know. Again, maybe I'm just looking into stuff that's not there, but seeing a dual, I mean, think of it like this, guys. So, for example, we already see what's going on in OP-13. I'm going to mainly focus on OP-13, right? Because this is an EB-03 card, so OP-13 will be legal. Well, compare this to Red Purple Roger, which is a 5-life, 7,000 power leader. And then we have Red Black Sabo, which is a 5-life, 6,000 power leader. Not at first. I know people are going to get mad, like, yeah, but they have to meet a certain condition to get to those points, or to get to that power level. I understand, guys, but it doesn't change the fact that they're 5 life and dual color, and then those are attacks they get to ignore early on. That's the main takeaway to get from that. So you see leaders like that, or even Red Blue Ace. Now that's a 3-life, 6,000 power leader. We've seen how good that can be in the past with like Red Purple Luffy was one of the first ones, if not the first leader to pioneer that. And then we saw Blue Purple Luffy. Even Green Purple Luffy is really kind of a 6,000 power 3-life leader. Most people take that first hit for free, basically ignoring the first attack to draw an extra card, and then they become a 6,000 power leader afterwards. But then we get to Nefeltari Vivi here, and we have a 5,000 power 4-life dual color leader. Yes, you can protect your characters with that once per turn effect from KO. However, will it be enough? Because here's the other thing, guys. This leader still cannot attack and do this activate main effect. So are you going to choose to not attack with your leader? Or are you going to choose to, play out a character, not rush in with it, and just attack with your leader? It's a weird spot to be in. And please don't misunderstand me, guys. I'm not saying this is a bad leader. I just find it hard. I'm going to find it hard to believe that a leader even like this will be able to compete in the current meta of OP-13 when this would be coming out, being a 5,000 power 4-life leader that cannot attack unless it doesn't want to do its activate main effect every turn. So we'll have to see what happens. Could be something there. You never know. It will always depend on the support that we see. But you guys tell me what y'all think about this leader in the comments section below. I think it looks like a very fun leader to play, but competitive. We'll have to see what support we can build around it, or if someone can find out like a really insane combo to run with this leader. Okay, that's it for this one. Let's move on to the next one. All right, next up we got Nami. Okay, Nami is a 5-cost, it's a blue character, 5-cost, 6,000 power, Straw Hat Crew, 1k counter, with on play if your leader is Nami. Okay, give your leader up to 1 Rested Dawn card, then play up to 1 cost 2 or lower character from your hand. Okay, so I think this is probably only playable in a single leader right now, unless you're using like a Rainbow Luffy for some type of tournament. And this is a promo card, so this wouldn't even be in a sealed tournament. But I think this is only going to be available in 1 leader because Blue Nami is going to be banned, right? And then the promo Nami, you can only run the new, promo 117, the new promo leader Nami. You can only run East Blue characters or East Blue cards in that deck, if I'm not mistaken. Well, this is just a Straw Hat Crew card. So I think this can only be played currently in Blue Yellow Nami. But I have to say, guys, this card is monstrous in that deck. So, okay, 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter character. On play, if your leader's Nami, give your leader up to 1 Rested Dawn card. So now you can use your leader effect on your opponent's turn and swing for 6 for this turn. Then you're going to play up to 1 cost 2 or lower character from your hand. Okay, so you can cheat out a Zeus or a Nojiko and get extra value in that way. And this is on a 5 Dawn turn right here, right? So you'll be able to play this card out on 5 Dawn going first, get your full value, developing a body, bouncing your opponent's character with the 2 cost. You have your leader effect for the next turn. And now on your 7 Dawn turn, you might be able to play out something like Jozu, bouncing your Nojiko back to hand. You cheat out with this character to bounce your opponent's character. It just has a lot of value. This card seems like it is going to be very, very strong within Blue Yellow Nami. I'm a big fan of this card. Other than that, though, I don't have a whole lot to say about it. This is a character that, like I was saying, you can only run this in, I think, 1 deck currently, guys. So unless they come out with a new Blue Nami leader in the future that can run this, this is a pretty restricted card, but still a very, very powerful card. Okay, let's keep going. All right, I was going to save this one for the very end. We got Nico Robin here, guys. I have read this card. Okay, here we go. Nico Robin is a 3-cost, 4,000 power, Straw Hat Crew, 1k counter character with once per turn, when one of your Straw Hat Crew type characters would leave the field by your opponent's effects, you may instead rest one of your Dawn cards. Here we go again, guys. We got more protection for green. They already had Tashigi. They already had Rosinante. They already had Kashiro. I'm sure I'm missing others, too. I mean, you could say, like, the 4-cost Nico Robin, the Odyssey one, but that one's a little too specific. I'll give you that. But now we have this card, right? This card here within green, Straw Hat Crew, is just incredible, right? Because understand, guys, notice there's no color restriction on this. This isn't like Tashigi where it can only protect green characters by resting itself. Nope. This has when one of your Straw Hat Crew type characters, like red, green, blue, purple, black, yellow, doesn't matter, would leave the field by your opponent's effects. So not just KO, any type of effect. You may instead rest one of your Dawn cards. So imagine this in like green, purple, Luffy. Imagine this in red, green Luffy. And I'm sure you can keep going through all the colors if you want to. Maybe green, blue, Zoro, and Sanji could even run something like this. There is no green, black Straw Hat leader. Well, I mean, technically the leader doesn't have to be Straw Hat Crew. It can just be, it could be in any deck. It can only protect Straw Hat type characters though. But green, yellow, you name it, whatever deck you decide to run, if it is a Straw Hat Crew focused deck, you can just leave one Dawn active in this card out on the board and you can protect that character. So, we are just seeing so much anti-removal in the game, guys. It's concerning me. I did a video on this not too long ago, but I feel like I have to do a follow-up video as soon as possible. Who knows? Maybe we'll save it for a stream or something like that. We'll have to figure it out later. But this is a lot of anti-removal. The card's very good. It is not a 2k counter like Tashigi, but this can protect any card, any Straw Hat Crew color card in the game. And then on top of that, you're not resting down the Tashigi where your opponent can attack into it now. No, you're resting down a Dawn. You just have to leave one Dawn active once per turn. Or just leave one Dawn active every turn for this effect. A very, very powerful card here, guys. Tell me what y'all think about it in the comments section below. I'm not in love with all this anti-removal, I have to say. I think removal is very good for TCGs. That's just me personally. Anytime you're dealing with a game where there is a board state that is, ever changing, and you're putting stronger and stronger characters on the board, I like when there is removal built in where I can deal with that in one way or another. But now we're seeing cards like this. I used to joke about how a board clear would just fix this game. Well, now a board clear won't do anything, right? Because I'll just tap one Dawn, save all my characters, except, actually, hang on. When one of your Straw Hat Crew type characters would leave the field by your opponent's effect, you may instead rest one of your Dawn cards. Guys, this doesn't even say other than Nico Robin. This card can even protect itself. That is crazy, guys. That's awesome. Very strong card, guys. I have to say, very strong card. Okay, let's keep going. Very, very good stuff here. We got one more card to go over. We got Jewelry Bonney. Okay, Jewelry Bonney is a yellow 4-cost, 4,000 power, 2k counter character. With Dawn ×2 on your opponent's turn, this character gains blocker and plus 2,000 power, so it's like a 6,000 power blocker, and then trigger KO up to one of your opponent's cost 3 or lower characters. I think the trigger's fine. I don't think it's all that. I mean, I guess it could really help against decks that try to go wide on the board, like Silver's Rayleigh or something, that stay low to the ground. But I think the trigger's kind of just whatever. I don't think it's all that crazy. But the Dawn ×2 effect is nice, and the fact that it has a trigger is also very good. So that makes it searchable for any kind of trigger searcher cards. And on top of that, it's a 2k counter. And then that Dawn ×2 effect within Bonney means you play this out on 4 Dawn, you can attach 2 Dawn right to this character right away, and now it's a 6,000 power blocker on your opponent's turn. So really, really good stuff here. I am a big fan of this card. I think this is really solid, but not too much more to talk about it other than that. All right, well, I think that's it, guys. Let me see. Yep, so that's it for all the different cards to go over today. Every card we saw today was a promo except the Nefeltari Vivi, right? So the Bonney promo, Robin promo, Nami promo, Vivi EB-03, and then Sabo, Luffy, this 2 different aces, right? This 4-cost ace, this Shanks, this Nami, this Chopper, and this 5-cost ace. All of those were promos. Only one card was from an actual set, and that is a little bit concerning. I hope they're going to find a way to make sure we can afford all these cards over here in the West, or at least get our hands on them in some way or another. Okay. Alright guys, let's go ahead and head over to the sim. We got one more thing to do in today's video, one game to go over, so let's go ahead and head over there and check that out. Alright guys, we got one quick game to go over, just a little fun game on the sim. We got a game of blue-yellow Nami versus blue-black Usopp. Okay, let's get the volume off. Yep, volume is off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. Okay, so I was messing around with some blue-yellow Nami the other day, right? That's kind of how this story begins, right? I was messing around with some blue-yellow Nami the other day. I have to say that blue-yellow is probably one of my favorite color combinations within this game. I like blue and black, I like black and yellow, and I like blue and yellow. Probably not very surprising, my favorite color is black and yellow in this, and my favorite color in this game is yellow right now, and then like my favorite two colors are black and yellow. And then blue is like probably my third one, and then everything else is after that. So go figure. Of course, I enjoy messing around with decks like this. Alright, so here we go, guys. I'm going to swing in for 6. Nothing really crazy happening in the early game here. Lots of, you know, the Usopp players got some searching going on. They play out a blocker. They're protecting their life. And we're going to swing in for 6 and develop a Cavendish. They're going to do more searching, develop a Zoro, get rid of my Cavendish. Seems really good. You hate to see it. Unless you're rooting for the Usopp player. Who is it? Who's out there rooting for the Usopp player? No, I'm just kidding. All right, so we're going to swing for 5 here. Looks like we have 7 Dawn. We're going to slam down the Odin. They're not getting rid of that card, right? They're not getting rid of that card. Okay, they're going to play out a Rebecca, and then playing out a Frankie. They're going to swing for 7. We're going to take that, going down to 3 life. They're going to swing for 7 more, and then we're probably going to 2K, 1K. Actually, we might just take this. Yeah, we'll just take this. So next turn we could get a Dawn on our leader and play more defensively. Okay, 8 and a 6. They're probably going to give me the blocker here. They have less than 5 cards in hand. They're going to draw a card. They're going to get a card out of their trash, put into play. The Leo doing a search, resting their Corda Coliseum. Really nice stuff here, guys. This guy knows what they're doing. Okay, what are we going to do? We are definitely attaching a Dawn to our leader. We're going to go 6 and a 6 here. See if they want to give me another card. I would definitely do that. Yep, they give me a card. I think that was smart. We're going to play out the Eustace Captain Kidd here, burning a card from their life. Okay, and since we burned a card from life and we had 7 or less cards in hand, we got to draw a card. Okay, they're going to swing 5 in. We're going to go and trash the Kikinojo to go up to 7,000 power for the turn. And then they're going to play out a Luffy and then play out a Sabo. Okay, well, I would rather them not have Luffy, guys. That's kind of what's going through my mind. I'd rather them not have Luffy, personally. Okay, we're swinging in for 6. They give me a 2K counter. We'll swing in for 8. This will probably give me the blocker. And then they draw a card from that. And then we swing in for 9. They take that. We had too many cards in hand. We actually had a play mistake there, guys. We should have actually played out the Red Rock first. And then the Nojiko and gone from there. And then we could have drawn a card from our leader effect. That was a play mistake on my part there. Okay, they play out the Cavendish. They're going to go 9 into 8. Yep, you're not getting the card for that. They got to draw 2, trash 1, 5 in here. We're going to just trash a Kuma for the turn because we have 2 in hand, and we're going to go 7,000 for the turn. They develop a Sabo and pass the turn back. Okay, 8 into 6. You want to give me your Sabo? Because I'll just keep swinging into this Cavendish. I think the answer is you just have to let it go. I mean, they could block if they want to, and then I have to swing into it again. Okay, they 2K, 1K. All right, sure, no problem. We'll go 9 more into it. They'll probably give me the blocker now. Yep, they do. Okay, they get to draw a card from that. Now we're actually going to be able to stand up the Odin here for 3 Dawn if we choose to do that. Let's see what happens. I'm going to swing for 6 first into the Cavendish. They give me a 1K, no problem. We'll pay 3, and then we'll return the Nojiko, standing our Odin. We're going to go 8 more into 6. If he can defend it, that's fine. He'll go down to 1 card in hand. He can't. We'll play out the Kuma. We'll gain a life. Now they're down to 2 or less life cards. We get to use our Eustace Kidd's effect to cycle a card. Okay, 6 into 5. They said, okay, well, this is getting out of hand, so we're just going to attack in. We take that hit very aggressively. They're going to play out the Zoro, play out the Sabo, protecting their board. But it's at this point here, guys, where we might just run them over, right? We might just try to run them over. Okay, so we'll swing 7 into 5. He takes that. We get to draw a card from our leader effect. We're going to swing 9 into 5. Okay, they get some type of effect there. I think it was a draw 2, trash 1. We'll go 5 into 5. Okay, well, now we're just going to swing for 15. Twice. Okay, we swing for 15. He's going to block. Okay, pay 3, return the Kuma. Swing 15 again. Good game to our opponent there. That was a fun one. Like I said, nothing too crazy here, guys. This was just meant to be a fun, quick game on the sim. Let me see if I actually have the sim up here, guys. I'll show you the deck list real quick. So, guys, here's the deck list we were using in today's video. I'm not going to do a full breakdown. I'm just going to have it up on the screen here for you guys to check out. I was messing around with some cards in here, like this card Hope. I think it could be kind of good within Blue Yellow Nami, because we can search up so many different things between the 7-cost Odin, the Jozu, the Cavendish, the Eustace Kid, you know, Kikinojo, Kuma, you name it. And another card that we don't have, I don't know when we're getting this promo card, guys. That's kind of been the theme of today's video, right? Quite literally, with the spoilers and whatnot. Promo cards. I don't know when we're getting this card, but this card is actually very, very strong within any kind of blue Nami deck. So 2 costs, 0 power, 1k counter. On play, draw 1 card and trash 1 card from your hand. So that's going to help you fix your hand, right? And then activate main once per turn. Give up to 1 rested Dawn card to your Nami. And that is an activate main. Okay, activate main once per turn. Give up to 1 rested Dawn card to your Nami. That allows you to play out this 2-cost character right on turn 1 if you're going second. And now you're going to be able to attach a Dawn every single turn to your leader for free, unless they choose to deal with it. And that would probably take the place of this Marshall D Teach within the deck, at least the way that I plan on building it. I'm just going to go -4 Marshall D Teach and go +1 Young Girl. Okay, so that's about it, guys. Again, I don't have a whole lot to talk about here. This was just one quick fun game with Blue Yellow Nami. This Kazuki Odin is such a disgusting threat on the board, guys. An absolute menace on the board. One more card I want to talk about that I'd like to include at some point is Nefeltari Vivi from EB-02. I mean, guys, if we can keep bouncing this card back with our Kazuki Odin, there's 2 really, really good cards in this deck to bounce back with Actually, there's 3. There's 3 really strong cards to bounce back to our hand with this Kazuki Odin. Nojiko is 1. Nefeltari Vivi is 1. And then last but not least, a card I want to include at some point within yellow is Onami, the 2-cost Onami. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. Do you guys see what's going on there? It's a combo that I had, you know, tried to build into Blue Yellow Ace, but there were too many moving parts in Blue Yellow Ace. I couldn't quite make it work. But with Blue Yellow Nami, I think it'll fit in just fine. It is a trigger card we could put into our life with our Kazuki Hiyoris. And then it is a card that it gives a leader or character banish. And the trigger's nice, by the way. KOing a 5 or less. It's a 1k counter. It's a 2-cost card. And what we can do later in the game is play out Onami, giving our Kazuki Odin banish, swinging in, and then paying 3 to return the Onami to our hand for next turn to give our Odin banish every single time. And swing twice every time. So there could be a lot to that. Could be very, very strong. All right, well, that's it, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me get the, whoops, not the sim overlay. Let me get the outro on here, guys. There we go. And adjust my camera. Guys, if you are supporting me in any way, shape, or form, whether you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, if you're using my TCG player affiliate link, if you're donating through Patreon or PayPal, if you're supporting by getting a playmat, if you're a YouTube member or part of the Discord community, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you. And yeah, you guys are awesome. What a great community we have here. Okay, I'm done. Till next time, peace.